Alright, day 2 of circles. Yesterday, on page 20, you should have drawn this. If you were not here yesterday, go ahead and go to page 20 and draw this. Make sure you label everything. You don't have to color code it, but you do have to label it. So if you don't color code it, make sure you put circumference around the circle. Make sure you know all the way across right here is your diameter, and make sure you know from the center point to the end is your radius. Also, make sure each variable is the same capitalization. Capital C, lowercase d, lowercase r, capital A. Next, make sure your squiggly is not drawn as an equal sign. There's two different things. Squiggly means approximately, because 3.14 is an estimate for what pi really is. Some of you yesterday got this written down, some of you did not. On page 21, you're going to write cherry pie delicious. And remember, we said that they stand for stuff. C in cherry, pie, and then D for delicious. So underneath where you wrote cherry pie delicious, draw arrows down, pointing to circumference equals pi times diameter. Underneath that, draw arrows down, pointing to circumference equals 3.14 times d. Typically we use 3.14 for pi, but you have to pay attention to the question because sometimes the question tells you to leave it in the form of pi. And the way you will see this equation written is C equals pi times diameter. Go ahead and write this down on page 21. You can go ahead and pause the video so you can finish writing it if you have not written it yet. Alright, directly under that, you're going to write apple pies are 2. And for those of you who were able to go over it yesterday, you should remember what it stands for. But if not, A is for area. And then we got pies are 2. So that's area equals pi times radius squared. Squared means a number times itself, not multiplied by 2, but a number times itself. More arrows down. Area equals 3.14 times radius squared. So the way you'll see it written, it is area equals pi radius squared. Make sure you write all this down. Pause the video if you need to finish writing it. Alright, you're not going to write this, we're just going to discuss it. It says, what is given in each of the following? The radius or the diameter? Alright, so the first one, it goes from the center point to the edge of the circle. And the center point to the edge of the circle is the radius. Next, center point to the edge of the circle. And again, center point to the edge of the circle is your radius. This one goes from the edge of the circle to the other edge of the circle, going through the center point. That is the diameter. Notice the diameter is double that of the radius. So your radius is half of your diameter. This one, what do you think it is? Half of the circle, so it is your radius. Another one, this is half of the circle also, so it's another radius. This is another full one, so that is your diameter. And another full one, so that is your diameter. On the bottom of page 21, you're going to write a couple of these. So we're going to find radius or diameter. So if it gives the diameter, we're going to find the radius. If it gives the radius, we're going to find the diameter. Remember, the radius is half of the diameter because it only goes halfway through. So you find the radius by doing r equals d divided by 2. Radius divided by 2. And you find the diameter by doubling your radius. Diameter equals 2 times your radius. So the first one, we're going to look at it. It gives us our radius, so that means we need to find our diameter. So you write your formula for your diameter, and you plug in what you know. So now we do the math. Our diameter equals 2 times 3. So diameter equals 6 meters. The next one, it gives us the diameter. So that means we need to find the radius. Radius equals the diameter divided by 2. So we write our formula, and we plug in our numbers. And then we do our math. Radius equals 4 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So the answer is 2 centimeters. Alright, again, we're going to find radius and diameter. Radius is half of your diameter, and diameter is twice your radius. Alright, so this first one, it gives me the diameter, because it goes all the way across. Since it gives me the diameter, I need to find my radius. So I'm going to write the formula, and then I'm going to plug in what I know. So radius is diameter divided by 2. So for this one, its radius is 1 divided by 2, which is 1/2. So my radius is 1/2 of a foot. Next shape, it also gives me the radius, and I want to find my diameter. So I remember that the diameter is double the radius. So D equals 2 times R. I'm going to plug in R. So D equals 2 times 1. So my diameter equals 2 inches. Okay, we're going to find radius or diameter again. Radius is diameter divided by 2. Diameter is radius times 2. Alright, I want you to figure out what this one is giving you. It is given as our radius. So that means I need to find my diameter. Go ahead and do that. So diameter is 2 times your radius. Plug in my radius, and then do the math. Diameter is 10 inches. This next one gives me the diameter because it goes all the way across. And I know the diameter is double my radius, so I must cut my radius in half. So radius equals diameter divided by 2. Go ahead and figure it out. We plug it in, and then we do the math. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5, so my radius is 4.5 feet. Alright, go ahead and get this worksheet so we can get it started. Alright, D stands for diameter. The diameter is the distance from edge to edge going through the middle. R stands for radius, and that is the distance from the center to the edge of the circle. The radius is half of the diameter. C stands for circumference, which is the distance around the circle. Alright, there are 2 formulas for the circumference. That is because they're both the same thing, but they stand for 2 different things. Or they look different, but they are the same. They are equivalent. Okay, this would be your 2 different formulas. Circumference equals diameter times pi. And circumference equals 2 pi r, which would be 2r times pi. How do we have 2 different ones? Well, think about it. Your diameter is needed for the formula. If you're given your radius, you have to double it to get your diameter. So you just use 2r to represent diameter. Alright, so over here, if you're given the diameter, we plug it in. So C equals diameter times pi. It gives me the diameter, which is 9. So my response is C equals 9 pi. And that is the answer, because it's not asking me to do this with pi as 3.14. Okay, and if the radius is given, use the formula C equals 2 times pi radius, or C equals 2r pi, because that 2r stands for your diameter. Okay, so it gives me the radius, So I plug it in. 2 times my radius is my diameter. So I get 6 pi as my answer. Alright, the area of a circle is the amount of space inside the boundary of the circle. Area equals pi radius squared. We'll look at this, and we know area needs radius, but this problem gives me diameter. So I gotta take my diameter and turn it into the radius. Radius equals diameter divided by 2, so radius equals 6 inches. Now I can use that to plug it into my area formula. Area equals pi radius squared. Plug in my radius. And now I gotta follow my order of operations, which tells me I have to do my exponents first. That exponent means that I am multiplying it by itself, not multiplying it by 2. 6 times 6 is 36, but we're going to change the order of it because the number, the coefficient, always needs to go in the front. So its area equals 36 pi inches. And just a quick little math humor. Why would you never talk to pi? It's irrational. It just keeps going and going and going. Alright. Complete the worksheet. Well, get out the other worksheet. Not completing it yet. Get out the other worksheet. Okay, we're going to do a few of them together and then you're going to do it on your own. What is the circumference of the circle? Write your answer using pi. So notice it's asking for the circumference. And it wants your answer using pi. So I need to write the formula for the circumference. Circumference equals pi times diameter. And then I look at it and I realize that it's giving me the diameter, so I can just plug that in. So circumference equals pi times 10. And because it wants me to leave it in terms of pi, my circumference equals 10 pi centimeters. Alright, so we're going to look at this one. The diameter of a circle is 10 yards. Find the approximate circumference of the circle using 3.14 pi. So we want to know the diameter. Well, not want to know the diameter. We know the diameter is 10 yards. And we want to find the circumference using 3.14 for pi. So first we realize it gives us the diameter, which is great because the formula is circumference equals pi times diameter. So we just plug in our diameter. Circumference equals pi times 10. But we know we need to use 3.14 for pi because the problem tells me to. So circumference equals 3.14 times 10. Now I do the math. And I know my circumference equals 31.4 yards. Okay, the radius of a circle is 15 inches. And what is the circumference of the circle? Write your answer using pi. So I think circumference is pi times diameter. And that means I need to double my radius to be able to get my diameter. So I get my diameter is 30. So plug it into the formula. Circumference equals pi times diameter. My diameter is 30, so I plug that in. I rearrange it and I add my units. Circumference equals 30 pi n. Alright, you're going to put that worksheet to the side. You do not need to complete it right now. You cannot complete it right now. You must finish this video first, and then you're going to complete the worksheet and turn it in. And it has to be turned in before leaving the class today. Alright, let's look at our third worksheet for the day. Alright, radius is a line segment with one endpoint at the center of the circle and the other endpoint on the circle. Diameter is a line segment that passes through the center of the circle and whose endpoints lie on the circle. The length of the diameter is twice the length of the radius. And then we have circumference, which is the distance around the circle. Okay, so I want you to label the circle, label the circumference, the radius, the diameter, and the center. The center would be the point right there. Okay, I'm going to show you a way to do it like a little road map. If you write RDCA, this works every single time. So you would start at the top with R, and you're going to go down to D. So going down, we're going to multiply it by 2. If we go from D to C, we're going to go down again on the right hand side. You're going to multiply it by pi. So if you're going down, you're multiplying. But when you're going up, you do the opposite. We're going in the opposite direction, so you do the opposite math. So we would divide by pi. Now we're going to go from diameter to radius, and we know that is divide by 2. So let's try it out. And let's say that the diameter is 6. If we want to go up to the radius, we divide by 2, and that'd be 3. We want to go down to the circumference, we multiply by pi, which would be 3.14, and that's going to be 18.84. Now to find the area, you just plug it into the formula. Area equals 3.14 times 3 squared. Follow your order of operations, do an exponents first, and then multiply, and you get the area equals 28.26. You can pause it to finish copying it down. Alright, bottom of the page, to determine the diameter when given the radius, you must multiply the radius by 2. To determine the radius when given the diameter, you must divide the diameter by 2. Make sure you plug it in and write it all out and answer the questions on Edpuzzle. Alright, once you're done, you're going to fold this page right here in half. You're going to glue it on page 22. And you fold this, you're not folding this page, you're going to just glue this page on page 23. So 22, 23. You can go ahead and pause the video so you can get this glued. You have about 30 seconds and then you should unpause it and be able to move on. Okay, now that you have finished gluing those, I want you to complete the fluency and skills practice worksheet that you were given today, and we did a few of them. You are going to finish this worksheet and you are going to turn it into the bin today before you leave. Do not walk out of the class with the worksheet with you. It must be turned in before you leave for credit.